The M1 Garand, the only gun to be known more for the sound it makes when you reload it. But today, we're not here to gush over the ding. We are here to slay zombies with only the M1 Garand on every single zombies game. Now, the M1 Garand is available on 6 games. Well, 6 that have zombies at least. However, 2 of those games will not be played today, which I know I'm sorry, and those 2 games are Black Ops 3, mainly because it's just unplayable at the moment on PC, and the other is Advanced Warfare. It's not broken, I'm just too lazy to install it. With that being said, our first game is at World of War, and of course we are playing Doris. The M1 Garand in this game is actually pretty damn good, so I was confident going into this. Well, apart from the fact that it's only available via the box on this map. First couple of rounds, I grabbed myself the Gewehr and got to grinding out some points. Round 5, we get to the box, and the unthinkable happened. I only go and pull the M1 Garand with the grenade launcher first time. Yeah, I then died the following round to the dogs. Which is just, great. Now, I didn't want our first run to end on round 6, so I ran it back. But this time, I did a teeny tiny bit of cheating by using the give all command to just give myself the M1 Garand. There is a command to just give the M1, but it wasn't working, or either that or I was baited. But either way, it wasn't providing me with the goods. But thanks to the PPSH only video I did a few weeks ago, I knew that the give all command would, so here we are. But the M1 now mine, I basically had nothing to do for the rest of the game, as Pack-a-Punch was no longer needed, and perks are easy enough to get, so all I did was just sit by the power and shoot zombies for 17 rounds. Those 17 rounds were a lot of fun, as I discovered the grenade launcher on the Pack-a-Punched M1 was, genuinely incredible, apart from the, the one time I almost got myself killed. With that being said, the teen rounds were a doddle. Both the M1 and the grenade launcher steamrolled their way through, until round 17. This was the first round where dogs spawned during the regular rounds, which kind of threw me by surprise, especially when I shot said dog twice with the GL and it didn't die, which led to me having to open the back door and retreat to the catwalk. You see why I hate these dogs in this game. The rounds up on the catwalk were also super easy, as the M1 had no problems taking down zombies, which I won't lie, I was a little surprised with, as I fully expected it to have fallen off by now, but I was wrong, and around 30 was calling my name. The only thing is, I was going to have to take a rain check on that round 30, as on round 21, I died. Now what happened was I hesitated. It was near the end of the round and I wanted to use the GL, but I didn't know if I should, and therefore the zombies had a chance to crowd me and they took it. Before I knew it, I was dead, which means we're off to a different game. And usually at this point I'd say Black Ops 1, but we're actually going a little bit further ahead to Infinite Warfare. Yes, that is right. Zombies in Spaceland on Infinite Warfare is where we'll be doing run number 2. And the M1 in this game is thankfully a starter war buy, and it's also pretty easy to acquire on the 2 remaining games, but we're not here for those just yet, as we now have one of the greatest zombie maps of all time in Zombies in Spaceland. I took this run a little slower than I usually would. The M1 Garand in this game is no slouch, and it can hold its own for a fair few rounds. So with that being said, perks were my main concern early game. The perks I wanted were Jug and Double Tap. Jug was acquired in round 5, but Double Tap wouldn't be acquired until round 9 because I realized I had to get 2 sides of the park turned on just so I could get the 1 perk. I at least think that's what happened. But it delayed my perk consumption time, which is the main issue here. In fact, it delayed it so much that by the time I actually got Double Tap, the Pack-a-Punch was open. However, at the end of round 9, Double Tap was bought, which was just in time for the first brute of the game. Now, I don't know about you, but I never fought this guy with just an M1 Garand before, let alone an unpack-punched version, and it was squeaky bum time for the whole round. Being chased around by the big guy with my weaponry, yeah, not it. But after putting the moves on him, I took him down and now I could relax a little, and I did that by pack-a-punching the M1 Garand. With an upgraded M1 in hand, the teen rounds didn't stand a chance, as this thing is a one-hit machine. Well, at least for now it was anyway. Throughout the teen rounds, I also got myself speed cola and stamina, and I was feeling pretty good. We were cruising our way through the rounds, completing challenges, cleaning house of all their tickets. Life was good. And then round 18 happened. Beginning of the round, I'm depositing a few points until a zombie runs up on me and tries to take me down. It's at this point when I notice that the challenge for this round is melee kills, which is mistake number 1. So I try and get some melee kills, which ends with me just taking it down. I'm on the bridge to spawn, and all of a sudden there's like 2 or 3 zombies just sprinting up my ass, and well, I'm down. It's all good though, as I quick revive. So I spawn back in, grab my stuff, and buy quick revive, only to see that a brute is now here, but that's not what gets me killed, because my dumbass goes straight back to trying to get the melee kills. Mistake and down number 2. Now you would hope that's it, right? Yeah, no. I respawn again, grab quick revive, and then beeline at the jug. I get the peg bought, only to get abused by zombies only a matter of seconds later. And just like that, all of my quick revives gone, and I still had an entire round of zombies to fight. Just wonderful. This time after respawning, things actually went my way, mainly as I just made my peace with death and got to blasting. I took out the round and got some perks back, and we were into the 20s. Yeah, I then took another down. I won't lie, I was a little confused as to why the game didn't just end, but it was because the Hoff was here and he came to my rescue, just further prolonging the pain, to be honest. But with my 5th or 6th chance at life, I got to it. I got all my perks back, plus PhD. Don't know why. I just bought it because I thought, you know, oh well. Things were back on track and going pretty well. The M1 was still doing the business, and I now had some of those exploding throwing knives. I was having the time of my life. Then I died. Literally out of nowhere. 1 second there's no zombies, and the next about 5 of them jump through the window and ruin my day yet again. But that does mean we have a new highest of 24, which isn't the most glamorous, but here we are. But we still have 2 games to go, and one of those, which I'm sure everyone will be pleased to hear, is Vanguard. Yep, some Vanguard zombies, M1 Garand only. Didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon. The M1 in this game, from what I remember at least, was pretty damn good, so I was here for it. The only issue was mine was level 18, so I didn't have any other good attachments unlocked, and there's no chance I'm leveling guns in the year 2023. We spawn in, and I may or may not have overstayed my welcome in spawn. The M1 was doing pretty well at putting down zombies left, right and centre, and I was having a blast. On round 7, the M1 stopped being a one-shot to the head, so I decided to leg it. For some reason on this game, I always focus all of my attention to whatever perk is in the fishing hut, and this run was no different. The perk was the fake dead shot, so it was worth hanging about. I already had a nice bit of cheddar, so I was able to afford tier 2 of fake dead shot. The next few rounds consisted of me grinding out points so I could max out the perk, and just before the end of round 9, that's exactly what I did. With fake deadshot fully maxed out, I now turned my attention to Jug. Now this is where things get a little weird. Usually how I play this game is max out the fishing hut perk and then get to Pack-a-Punch and stay in that area. Yeah, not this time. You see, on round 12, the M1 Warbite upgraded to blue, meaning it was now Pack-a-Punch tier 1, so I got it bought, which therefore meant I didn't need to get to the Pack-a-Punch area just yet, so I didn't. With my Pack-a-Punch M1, I stuck about in the area by the flogger. Round 15, Jug was maxed, and I still didn't make my way over to Pack-a-Punch. Instead, I buggered off to the doctor's quarters, and the goal, you'll never guess what, was to max out whatever perk was in there. The perk was speed, which was welcomed, as this new version of the M1 had a drum magazine, which, by the way, is so cursed. But the reload speed was slow, so speed was needed, and this is where my troubles began. You see, it's round 16, things are starting to get spicy, and I'm piss-assing about in the doctor's quarters like an idiot. I make it to round 18, still in the doctor's quarters by the way, but I'm close to maxing out the perk. But then, unsurprisingly, I take it down. All that hard work to get maxed perks, and now I was sent back a tier. But it only gets worse as once I revive, I kind of realize I'm screwed, and not in a fun way. And only a matter of seconds after getting back up, I'm headed straight back down. It hasn't been the best of outings for the M1 Garand, but most of that mainly comes down to the tit using it. However, there is still one game left, the most underrated of all the zombie games, some might say, that some being me. And that game is World War II. The M1 Garand is once again available on the wall in this game, and on Final Reich, which is the map of choice today, it's available pretty early on. Before I can get my hands on the gun, I need to turn on the power, which isn't too difficult. With the power on, we can clear the sewers, and now all I need to do is turn on the generator, which was done shortly later. We open the door and there lies the M1 Garand. From this point on, I didn't really know what I was doing. I may be a big fan of this map, but that doesn't mean I remember everything about it. And to my surprise, I actually started the Wonder Weapon quest, which meant all the lights were turned off in the main facility. That is until I, of course, grabbed the parts needed for the Tesla gun. The other thing I needed to be doing was opening Pack-a-Punch, which is simple enough. I just needed to go down 3 drain pipes all around the map, one of which was done on round 11. But that wasn't the end of the fun for that round, as we also had to fight our first Brenner, which at first had me worried until I just stuck 4 sticky bombs to his head, and well, let's just say he wasn't a problem after that. With the Brenner taken care of, I got back to opening Pack-a-Punch, and around 12 it was open, and I also got the M1 Garand upgraded into the GOAT, which is honestly a very fitting name. The M1 had been turned into a 2-burst gun, which at first I wasn't the most fond of, but it proved to be very good as it breezed its way through the teen rounds by pretty much just one-shotting everything. The boss zombies also didn't stand a chance during these rounds, and I was cruising. But then I did something at the beginning of round 20. I have 4 perks, as you can see, and I went to see if you could maybe get 5, so I jumped down into the sewers and buy Stamina Up. Now I didn't realize this at all, but in doing that I replaced Quick Revive. Genuinely didn't have a clue what I did. I just jumped down and thought either I can buy the perk or I can't buy the perk. I had no idea that I could buy the perk and it would replace one that I already own. So to my own knowledge, I had 5 perks, but in reality, I only had 4. With that, I just went on with my zombie slaying for many more rounds. This isn't a, oh, I messed up and immediately paid the consequences. In fact, it was more of a, oh, I messed up, but now I'm thriving, which doesn't really make sense, but just roll with it. The 20 started off pretty much the same way the teen rounds went. Zombie spawns in, and the M1 just puts them down with little to no effort. And this continued for many more rounds. In fact, things didn't begin to get difficult until I was closing in on the 30s. The M1 was still incredible at this point too, by the way. Every regular zombie was still being put down by only 2 bullets to the head, which is wild. But things began to get a bit more difficult, mainly due to the sheer volume of enemies that I was now fighting. Each round felt like I had to take down a full army's worth of zombies, not to mention the 3 or 4 big hammer guys and the splody guys that were seemingly spawning in for fun. The rounds were dragging, but the M1 kept pushing through. The M1 actually pushed through a lot more of the rounds than I thought it would, and if you paired this thing with one of the Tesla guns, you'd probably have a pretty easy round 50 on your hands, maybe even higher. But all good things must come to an end, and this run ends on round 34. Now, what you see here is a person who's been playing zombies for 4 hours straight, and their brain is turning to mush. So I was just messing about, honestly. But due to my distracted nature, I had left myself vulnerable, and when all the zombies spawned in, they just abused the shit out of me. And before I knew it, I was dead. And then I realized 14 rounds ago, I swapped out Quick Revive like the idiot I am. But with that, round 34 on World War II is the clear victor. Thank you very much for watching, and apologies that the content has been a little slow of late, but I promise the next one will be sooner rather than later. And with that, goodbye.